So, you've been here before. The mixed signals, the emotional walls, the moments of closeness that vanish just as quickly as they appeared. 1 minute, he seems invested, interested, even affectionate. The next, he's cold, distant, and impossible to read. And now you're left wondering, is he pulling away because he's emotionally unavailable, or is there something deeper going on? At some point, this question haunts almost everyone who has dealt with a distant, emotionally confusing partner. Is he just an avoidant type, afraid of getting too close? Or could he actually be a narcissist, playing a calculated game of control and emotional withdrawal? And more importantly, how do you tell the difference? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. So if you've ever found yourself analyzing his every action, trying to figure out whether he's a wounded soul afraid of intimacy or a self-absorbed manipulator, you've clicked on exactly the right video. Welcome back to Psych Bites, where we break down the psychology of attraction, relationships, and emotional dynamics. If you're tired of second-guessing your partner's intentions and want science-backed clarity, make sure to subscribe, because today we're diving deep into the difference between narcissistic tendencies and avoidant attachment styles. Relationships can be incredibly complex, especially when you're trying to figure out whether someone's emotional distance is rooted in fear of intimacy or a need for control. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt deeply connected to someone, only for them to pull away unexpectedly, leaving you confused and questioning everything? Did you find yourself justifying their behavior, hoping they would change? Or did you eventually recognize the signs and walk away? How did you process it? Was it avoidant attachment, or do you think you were dealing with something more toxic, like narcissistic manipulation? I'd love to hear your experiences. Drop your story in the comments, whether it was a lesson learned, a struggle you're still navigating, or an insight that helped you break free. Your story might just help someone else recognize what they're going through. At first glance, narcissists and avoidant partners can look almost identical. Both struggle with emotional closeness. Both send mixed signals. Both can leave you feeling confused, unimportant, and emotionally starved. But the reasons why they act this way? That's where the difference lies. Let's start with avoidant attachment styles. According to attachment theory, first introduced by psychologist John Bowlby and later expanded by Dr. Mary Ainsworth, people develop attachment styles based on their early childhood experiences. If someone grew up with emotionally unavailable or dismissive caregivers, they may have learned that getting close to others is unsafe or unimportant. This is where avoidant partners come in. These are the people who, on the surface, seem independent, self-sufficient, even uninterested in deep emotional connection. But in reality, they want connection. They're just afraid of what comes with it. They pull away when things get too emotionally intense because closeness triggers a subconscious fear of engulfment. They might love you, but struggle to express it. Because vulnerability was never something they learned was safe, they repress their emotional needs, convincing themselves that they don't actually need deep intimacy, when in reality, they crave it just like anyone else. One of the key signs of an avoidant partner is that their distancing behavior isn't about control. It's about self-preservation. When they pull away, it's not to manipulate you or make you feel small. It's because their nervous system literally interprets too much emotional closeness as a threat. Their brain associates deep emotional intimacy with vulnerability and potential pain, leading them to create psychological distance even if they truly care about their partner. Their prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational decision-making, might tell them that they want love, but their limbic system, which controls emotional regulation, activates a fear response that pushes them into withdrawal. This creates an internal conflict between wanting closeness and fearing it at the same time. In contrast, a narcissist's emotional withdrawal isn't about fear, it's about power. Understanding how narcissists develop can give us deeper insight into why they behave the way they do and why true change is so rare. While it might be easy to assume that narcissists are simply born that way, research suggests that narcissistic personality traits are shaped by early childhood experiences and environmental factors as well. Studies in developmental psychology, including research by Dr. Otto Kernberg and Dr. Heinz Kohut, indicate that narcissistic tendencies often develop as a defense mechanism against deep-seated feelings of insecurity, inadequacy, or emotional neglect. In many cases, narcissists either grew up with excessive praise, being told they were special or superior without being taught emotional empathy, or they experienced early emotional wounds such as criticism, rejection, or conditional love from caregivers. Some were raised in high-pressure households where love and validation were only given if they achieved or performed, so they learned to construct an inflated, grandiose self-image to compensate for feelings of unworthiness. Others experienced parental neglect, leading them to develop an excessive need for admiration to fill that emotional void. The result? A personality that thrives on external validation while simultaneously fearing deep emotional vulnerability. This is why narcissists often appear confident on the surface, but crumble when faced with criticism or rejection. Their entire self-worth is fragile, built on maintaining an illusion of superiority, which is why they struggle with genuine emotional intimacy and accountability. Instead of addressing their wounds, they develop defense mechanisms, manipulation, gaslighting, or emotional withdrawal to keep others at a distance while maintaining control. Where an avoidant partner pulls away to self-protect, a narcissist pulls away to control and manipulate. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, as outlined in the DSM-5, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, centers around grandiosity, entitlement, lack of empathy, and a constant need for validation. Unlike avoidants, who deep down want love but don't know how to handle it, narcissists aren't interested in love the way you are. They view relationships transactionally, as a means to an end. They don't crave emotional connection. They crave admiration, control, and validation. So, while an avoidant partner might withdraw when things feel too intimate, a narcissist withdraws to punish you, create uncertainty, and keep you chasing their approval. One of the biggest red flags of narcissism? The push-pull cycle. One moment, they love bomb you, making you feel like you're the most special person in the world. The next, they pull away suddenly, not because they're scared, but because they want to see how hard you'll fight for them. Then, when you start feeling anxious and unsure, they throw you breadcrumbs of affection to keep you hooked. This is manipulative attachment insecurity, not fear of intimacy. And the most damaging part? They make you feel like the problem. They imply that you're too needy, you're the one asking for too much, you're the one pushing them away, when in reality, they were never emotionally available to begin with. Now here's the tricky part. Some narcissists can also be avoidant, but not all avoidants are narcissists. Dr. Craig Malkin, author of Rethinking Narcissism, explains that narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some people have mild narcissistic tendencies, but aren't full-blown narcissists, while others display pathological NPD behavior. The key is in the intent behind their actions. If they pull away but still seem to care about your feelings, they're likely avoidant. If they pull away and make you feel guilty for reacting, they're likely narcissistic. If they push you away but still try to work through things, even in their own flawed way, they're likely avoidant. If they pull away, then punish you, belittle you, or blame you, that's narcissistic behavior. Understanding this difference is huge, because while avoidant partners can struggle with emotional availability, they can change if they're willing to do the inner work. Therapy, self-awareness, and a safe, supportive relationship can help avoidants learn to rewire their attachment patterns over time. Narcissists, on the other hand, they don't change because they don't see anything wrong with their behavior. So if you're in a relationship with someone who pulls away but still values you, respects you, and tries, even clumsily, to meet your needs, you may be dealing with an avoidant partner who needs healing, not punishment. But if you're constantly feeling like you're walking on eggshells, questioning your worth, and fighting for their attention while they give you nothing in return, you might be stuck in a narcissistic cycle that will never give you the love you deserve. At the end of the day, the real question isn't just, is he avoidant or narcissistic? It's, does this relationship make me feel safe, valued, and emotionally fulfilled? Because whether he's struggling with attachment wounds or thriving on control, the reality is that you deserve a love that doesn't leave you second-guessing your worth. If you find yourself constantly trying to decode his behavior, Wondering whether he's just emotionally guarded or if he's deliberately manipulating you? It's time to take a step back and really evaluate what this relationship is doing to you. Because when a relationship is healthy, you don't have to overanalyze every text, every withdrawal, or every moment of affection that feels like it could disappear at any second. But if you're still unsure whether the person you're with is actually a green flag, someone who has the ability to grow and love in a healthy way, or if they're a red flag, waving warning signs you shouldn't ignore, then you need to check out our video on dating a green flag or a red flag. We have broken down the subtle but crucial differences between a partner who is truly emotionally available and one who will only keep you stuck in confusion, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. Click to watch now, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into relationships, psychology, and everything that helps you navigate love with clarity. See you in the next one.